Yo, what's up, guys? It's Talon. Today we're going to be coaching a Varus and Quirky player, really understanding waves as an ADC. So it's a common thing that I speak about in a lot of my coachings is waves, but I feel like this is a good video where I really go over a lot of the important things to understand. This is just a very common mistake. ADCs don't understand where to be in the mid game, how to get a lot of gold, kind of how to create extra gold. I mean, I've coached multiple ADCs today, and all of them I had to speak about very similar issues. So it's just a video that I thought is useful for you guys to kind of watch to really understand this common mistake made by ADCs and see it, from the perspective of someone I'm coaching. If you're interested in getting coaching by a 4-time top 10 who's hit rank 5 sovereign playing autofill, just DM me on Discord, Talon1169, or through the link in the description to my Discord server. For coaching, it's just $15 for an hour of coaching. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.
Yeah, peak rank Grandmaster. Now I'm Challenger. Promoted to Challenger the last game that I did with Koki.
Okay, so then what's the goal with this coaching here?
And just to I mean, this season my stats is not good because I tried all lanes. I mean, I practiced all lanes. Before that, I was only AD carry. But
Gotcha.
now I'm tried, okay, I'm gonna try all lanes. So my stats was pretty bad, but like when I achieved Grandmaster, I said to my friend, okay, it's time to AD carry.
Okay.
So now, next season, I want to get the challenger pretty fast and then go legendary rank as an AD carry.
Okay. So the first thing is you didn't go on the wave right away, which meant that they were able to get control of the wave. And when you're playing into poke champions, like, like Caitlyn Melio has pretty good poke in lane, for example, or it was Karma something, right, in the other game. And so you needed to be on the wave right away, rather than kind of going and warding and doing other things like that, level 1. Because now the enemy get control over the wave, as you can see, and then they're kind of able to pressure you. They're going to get level 2 first, stuff like that. So you want to be more focused on getting control of the wave level 1 by auto-attacking it right as it comes. Does that make sense?
Yes, but like this, I think that I thought like because of the first strike, I wanted to like grind the first strike fast, and if I went at the first wave, Caitlyn would grab me first.
It's
Do you get
okay.
what I
First
said?
strike, you can miss one first strike like proc if you need to. And also, when the Caitlyn starts to walk up at you and try to poke you, you'll just walk backwards and then use your first ability, and she shouldn't even be
Yeah,
able to hit you anyways. So you should be fine regardless. But
I
it's
see.
definitely
Yeah,
important to try to get on the wave, because the Caitlyn wasn't right on the wave right away. She was kind of a little farther back, which meant that you could have gotten control. Whereas if the Caitlyn
yeah,
started
you're
to
right.
walk up at you, then yeah, you would kind of walk backwards a little bit, But like even here, again, don't focus the words and the vision so much. You should be focusing on getting the wave. You
The
see how
gold and the waves. Yeah,
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 you're
yeah.
losing out on gold for no
I
reason.
just wanted to. I thought that Listen going to be at the river, so we can go kill him with Graves. But like, it was a bad decision. I
Yeah.
agree.
And if you usually want to rotate to help your teammate, usually pushing the wave is going to allow you to rotate easier, because then
Yeah,
the
yeah,
enemy will be stuck clearing it, and so then you get to still rotate first. So we would usually prefer that most of the time.
yeah.
But yeah, also, if you don't know, I'll write down the notes of like the, main things that we spoke about at the end, so that we'll have like specific things to
All
work
right.
on. I'll do that
Thank you.
after the 2 games that we do. But basically, so far, the main thing revolves around your wave management mostly, which is just understanding that we kind of want to have more control over the wave when we can. When the enemy walk up, of course, we're going to start walking back. We're not just going to, like, just let them hit us a bunch for free, but we definitely could have had
Yeah,
a lot more control over the wave, and then also push the wave out before we rotated. So those are going to be the main things
I
so
see.
far. And then here, yeah, again, you should be pushing the wave before you recall. It's the exact same thing, where now you're going to lose out on a minion potentially. There's no reason that you couldn't have just pushed this wave and then done the exact same thing of recalling. You would also have more gold to spend, which can potentially be useful, but you also won't lose out on this gold in the wave, and the enemy won't get free control. Whereas because you
Yeah, yeah,
recalled after the enemy, they now get to push the wave first. But if you already pushed that wave under their tower, they wouldn't get the same control over the wave, and then you'd come back in a way better spot. But instead, again, the enemy are now pressuring you on the wave really hard, and the enemy aren't even playing it well. If they played it well, you would get pressured a lot harder. They would already have
yeah.
poked out your turret, and just like overall, you'd be in a much worse spot, basically. Does this all kind of make sense?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree.
Cool. And the other nice thing is, because you told me that there was that one game where you got ganked a bunch by Volibear, and a
Mm-hmm.
lot of times the reason that you're going to get ganked so much is because you put yourself in a
It's
position where
because the yeah.
it's really easy to dive you, right? A volley bear, if the wave is crashing into you, is going to be really easy to dive. Obviously, I don't see the game, so maybe that didn't happen, but a lot of times that's
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of,
you're right. I
yeah,
remember the game. You're right. You're exactly right.
perfect. So then we can kind of see how this can be a problem in those types of games. So basically,
Yeah.
um, you're just essentially freezing a lot more than you need, and we kind of need to understand like times where it makes sense to freeze and times where it doesn't. Um, So, and obviously like, it's like a good kill there, but like times where it makes sense to freeze is usually just going to be when you have really, really good all in. Do you know what I mean by all in? Like when I say that?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So when you have really good all in and you think that you can make the enemy have to walk up and then kill. So yeah, if you're like, let's say you're playing Corki and Thresh into like Bane and I don't know, um, Sona. Like maybe if they're weak, like maybe you already got a kill earlier in lane and you can kill them, then you freeze there so that when they walk up you just go for an all-in. But most of the times you'd rather just have control over the wave pushing it, because then you can rotate, help your team, other things like that as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I think that's
I
kind of
can see
understood.
that
Yeah,
after you said that the controlling wave, I can see the difference. I
yeah.
mean, after your notes.
Perfect, perfect. So I'm glad that'll be, yeah, definitely the main focus here is going to be that with your early game. And usually when it comes to improvement, it's not like we're like, because you're like a relatively good player. You said you're a challenger, right? So like you understand the game. So we're not going to have a million things to work on. You play the game okay, like you're playing pretty well. So it's going to be like those one or two main things to improve on at different points in the game. So I'm going to want, when you go into your next, however many games, that's your main focus, is just the wave control more than anything
The wave
else.
control.
And then, we'll see what ends up being the case in like the mid game and whatever. But usually we'll have a couple main things. So that's going to be the main thing to focus on. Because even here, you
All right.
didn't push the wave before going dragon. And there was no real reason for you to even, do that. Kind of the same
By
thing,
the way,
right?
I'm not main Varus. I usually play Lucian, the Raven, or something.
Gotcha.
And Varus added up recently, but like I'm trying to practice him. As you can see, I'm not really that good with him.
I think in terms of like the mechanics,
No,
your mechanics have all been fine. Like a
the
choice of,
question that I
yeah, what's up?
want to ask as well is like I saw a lot of people leveling up the skill number 3. I mean the anti-wheel one,
Yeah.
the arrows. I'm usually upgrade the second one when I can just poke them with the tier. Is it a bad thing to upgrade level 3?
To upgrade the third ability level 3, or what do you mean?
And the third ability, yeah, level 3 instead of level 2.
Yeah, you should take your second ability at level 2, and then your third ability at level 3.
All
100%.
right, all right.
Because it gives you really
And
good
that,
all-in potential with your, like, because it gives you the passive and everything like that. Like, that is really the main thing that a lot of people are bad at with Varus. As a multiple-time rank 1 Varus, like, I play this champ a lot. And 100% the main thing that people don't understand is that second ability passive usage. So, like, that is 100% something you should be taking as early as possible, set level 2, obviously. So, yeah, no, you're
yeah,
right about that. And here it was a fine play. I mean, you won, and then you get ganked.
I
That's all
flashed
fine.
ult there because I saw Zoe coming, so
Yeah,
I
yeah,
thought she could catch up
yeah. It was
fast.
perfect. Exactly what you should have done there. And then here, I'm gonna hope that you go mid out of base, but you don't. Yeah. So
No,
this
no, I
is a
didn't.
case.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah, and so we can see again, it's kind of revolving around waves. So even in the mid game, we see a very similar mistake, where you could go mid here, you get this wave, you probably get the next wave, you get 300 free gold, and so let's say that you get a kill from
Yeah,
this rotation. If you get a kill here, that same kill, you would have got the exact same amount of gold from going mid lane. And you don't even end up getting the kill. So say that
yeah, I
you
didn't.
just go mid, you get the guaranteed gold that would be the same even if you did get the kill. So, yeah.
Even if I did take the kill, it was be worth to go mid. I mean,
Yeah.
look at the wave at mid. At this point, it's like,
Yeah,
what,
exactly. And
300,
you would
400?
have been able to go help your team after too. Like you could have gotten the mid wave and then still gone and help your team, and
Yeah.
it's not like you couldn't have gone. So yeah, that's definitely. I
Yep.
mean, it really does seem like we have this one major issue. Because overall, like I said, you're playing pretty well. Your mechanics are fine. The choices, way you play wave, everything where you're standing, it's all fine. Obviously, we haven't seen team fighting yet, and team fighting is a bit different on Varus compared to like auto
Yeah,
attacking
yeah, yeah.
champs. But yeah.
By the way, I saw someone building a tier with, I mean, a Manamune with
Yeah.
Varus first item. Is it good?
It's pretty good. It's kind of like it's pretty debatable for if you prefer Essence Reaver or Manamune. I don't really blame people for whatever they prefer. The reason I prefer Essence Reaver is because the early game's a lot better, because using tier, it wastes a lot of gold early game on something that does no
Yeah.
damage. And for that reason, I typically prefer to go for the Essence Reaver. And then here, one thing that was important a little earlier, I didn't mention it because we were talking, but is that, again, you should have kind of focused on going mid first, because there wasn't really a wave in top lane and you were kind of just waiting for nothing. So you had like a 15-second window where you could have gone mid, pushed that mid wave out, and then came back to top side. But at this point, again, given whatever just happened, you should definitely go mid out of base, which hopefully you do. I think this time you should, because everyone's dead here, so you don't have a reason to want to go fight. You
Yeah,
should
I'm
probably go
going
mid.
for this one. I'm going for Volibear.
Yeah.
I thought I
So-
can help him.
Yeah, it's not bad to try to find a quick kill if you see an angle to do that. That's definitely fine. Though I do
You got
want us
away
to
with
be on
the
mid
ult.
wave at this point. Like, hopefully at this point you're like, okay, I'm just gonna go mid. Yeah, you do eventually. So I think these choices are fine. Overall, I would have gone mid and then again gone for the fight on Volibear afterwards.
Yeah, I know
because
the method for ADK to go mid is a lot better for the just staying top or bot, whatever your lane is.
yeah,
You can grind more gold like this.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and here again, you need to be mid quicker. Like, you notice again, that turret could be fucking dead right now, but you're not
Yep.
going mid. So again, it's the same thing. Because 100%, like, you need to be like, okay, fight's over. What do I do now? What wave is easy to kill? What wave do I need to be on? Which turret do I need to protect or kill? Or what do I do to get as much gold as possible? Instead, you waited about, 15 seconds, and now you're just on this wave, which is, like, good that now we're protecting it. But we could have already been pressuring mid and then still came topside afterwards, but we're just wasting a lot of time.
Yep.
And then again, you recall on another wave that's pushing, so then your turret can die if the enemy go on it, when you could have just gotten this wave and then recalled after. You usually don't want to recall right as a wave reaches mid. You want to recall after killing a wave. So essentially, the gist of it is basically, I need to push a wave before I do anything. So before I recall, I push a wave. Before I rotate, I push a wave. Before I ward, I push a wave. Before I do anything, almost always. Obviously, sometimes there's just a kill where you have to go for it right away. Like, don't get me wrong. Don't follow me too literally, right? Sometimes, sometimes you
It
do
all
have to
depends
just
on the
deviate.
situation.
Yeah. But as a general rule, if you don't know specifically what to do, I'm gonna want you focus a lot more around these waves. So like even here, you want to rotate bot, but obviously you should push mid wave first, which this time it's a very obvious situation, so you're gonna do that. And then here you can even pressure the mid turret instead of going straight for the fight. So this is perfect. Like, this is the type of thing that we could be doing a lot more frequently when the enemy over rotate or something like that. And then we get, obviously a free turret and we have the ability to rotate. And I like that you're kind of giving up that top lane turret at this point, because at this point, hopefully we get our top laner to go. But again, pause right here. Or yeah, you can just pause right here for a second. So this is a common situation that happens very, very frequently. The mid wave again is reaching mid lane, and we can tell based on where our wave is, where their wave will be, right? Because if our wave is, you can tell it's mirrored.
Yeah, it's the exact same, but different side.
Yeah, okay. So I just want to make sure that's understood. So because we know that, we know a mid wave's about to reach. And if you go on this mid wave right away, what ends up happening is the enemy have to go to it. Almost always someone will go to it. So then you get vision of them, and then they're pushed back, and then you have complete control over the river. But with what you're doing right now, if the enemy are smart, they go on mid wave, they draw you guys there, and then very easily they can camp a bush or do something like that, right? So that's why I just need you to understand that this is really what we have to be doing, and then make the play that you're doing. Whereas you rotate with your team a wave too early. So a lot of times what happens, again, you're going to go on a wave that's already been there for a little bit. Like, say this mid wave, say it's there for 15 more seconds, and then you go on it. A next wave is going to come very soon. So instead of just leaving because you got that one wave, you get the second wave, and then you make your play. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
I see.
Then yeah, we can
Big difference.
And again, because the enemy are also, making a bad choice, we don't get punished for it, which is why it's always hard to tell as well. Because like this Caitlyn, Melio, and lane, they didn't punish the fact that you, didn't use your wave management very well. And here they're also not punishing it, right? So like, then we don't get screwed over by it. But say we're playing against a really good player, we're gonna get screwed. And
This
also
was bad.
yeah, I mean, you're also walking without your team.
I was walking like a frontliner. Yeah, it was really bad.
Yeah,
I
I mean, you
know.
were even doing that like earlier too, you know, in the like you were always the one leading, which then leads to a
Yeah.
lot of this. So it's just generally like the impatience because you know you're just yeah you're leading like a front line like you said. And again, the main thing for this is like we just need to let our team lead the way and not try to over force something just because we want to do something. Even if what you want to do is correct, a lot of times as ADC you just have to let your team make the decision
Yeah.
and just follow up because that's just like kind of what your role does. And again, the main way to control where your team goes is the waves, because if you have these waves pushing, it just makes it all a lot more streamlined because then you get to know where the enemy are, you get vision of them, your teammates will like follow, protect you, whatever, all that type of stuff. So. And so yeah, I would say that's kind of the main other thing with you, apart from the wave stuff, is just kind of the like trying to do too much, like, you know, a bit of impatience when you don't have a lot of information. Because there's kind of times where you're walking a bit far forward without really knowing where the enemy are, or stuff like that. So yeah.
I mean, this one as well. I'm pushing too far.
No, I think this is fine. I mean, I don't really mind like trying to get this wave pushed. I don't see a big reason why you wouldn't be able to do this. And also, even if you die, it's not that different because
Yeah,
then the
because there
wave
is no
comes.
object.
Yeah, then the wave comes a lot quicker. So like, I think it's fine. Um, Either way to do what you're doing here. I don't really see an issue with that. But and another thing about like kind of this wave stuff is you can be especially like a little greedy for the waves. No, I don't want you being super greedy, but a little bit greedy if you see or if you have your flash rather, you know, or if you have cleanse. Like if you have more defensive spells or ways to survive, or you have stasis or whatever, because then you're less likely to die on that wave. So sometimes you can be slightly greedy for that. Or say that you do see 2 people, even if you don't see all 5, you can be like, okay, I can be a bit safer, like I'm probably fine, you know, that type of thing. But when it came to this fight, I mean, it was all fine, obviously. The enemy are pretty far ahead at this point, so you're probably just screwed, right? But that is crazy damage by Heimerdinger, oh my god. Yeah.
Got me at the corner.
Yeah, and here I'd go bot lane again after you. We'll see where we go, but there's like a giant bot wave and we're just not paying attention to it. So it's like the same thing again, where you just don't understand where you should be and when you should be there. It's pretty straightforward too. When you're like getting pushed in and defending
Just that I
base.
want to grab both farm. I mean, that one I wanted to grab both mid and bot, but Owen got to the bot before me. So I
Yeah.
get what he said.
And the reason that I would have wanted you to go bot right away is because there's a much bigger wave there. And a lot of times in solo queue and whatever, or even duo queue, I'm trying to like basically fight my team for this type of gold a lot of times, right? Because that gold on Orin is not going to be nearly as good as it is on Varus. And that wave was
Yeah.
also pushing very far. So that's kind of something I would have
That was
rather been
by
focused
bad
on.
ult.
It's fine. You don't need to worry about missing an ult. Like, at the end of the day, ult usage is it's pretty straightforward, you know? It's like you either hit it or you don't.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to miss ultimates. That's not what I'm concerned with. I'm concerned with the decision making, and if your choice was correct to use your ultimate. Your choice was correct to use your ultimate, you just happen to miss it there. So that's fine, you know? Like, that's perfectly fine. And this is a really good fight. Wait, what even killed you? I didn't even notice.
Neither.
Elio really did that much damage, damn. That was a good fight by you, though. I mean, that was really good choices in terms of like how you play the fight. Again, like I think your mechanics and the way you play these fights is good. I think that you're a bit greedy when it comes to like, or a bit over aggressive sometimes. You know, not paying attention to specific spells. So I would say the one thing in fights is that you could do a bit better job of keeping track of the spells that are really dangerous to you. You know what I mean? And like really tracking those. But as a whole, I think you play fights really well, and I definitely think it's mostly the understanding of waves, which is going to lead to you having way more gold, which is going to make it way easier to carry, and is going to put you in less dangerous positions because you'll get better vision of the enemy.
Yeah.
Like even here, why are we not behind our Ornn? Like why are you leading this? You know what I mean? It's like just let your Ornn lead, and that's a very common thing that we see. So like those are really the 2 main issues with your gameplay, and then it does lead to us losing flash right before Elder, right? So this is the type of mistake that's
I was scared for listening ult and Q.
No, it's good that you flashed. I'm saying you didn't need to flash if you were playing around your Ornn. But yeah, it's definitely good to flash at that point, yeah. And even again, like going on this wave here when we don't really have vision and our teammates weren't quite near, like there's no reason to wait an extra 2 seconds for Nami to get there. It's just like these types of things where we need to understand, like, at this point in the game, because the other thing is the greed for waves. So I told you, for example, earlier in the game to greed for the waves. Greeding for a wave when Elder's about to spawn is a lot worse than, you know, at 10 minutes into the game, right? So you need to understand when it is in the game as well for, like, when you're being greedy or whatever. And then here, I guess you just got stuck on a wall, I think.
They ended up in. This thought I was either going to like grab them with the ult. I mean, wait,
Yeah.
hold on. All right, this position, I wanted to grab someone on the ult at the other side, but then I saw this and I wanted to bait him. And
You
this
definitely
is why
should have
I
just followed
ulted
up
him.
with your team here. I mean, you saw your team going for it a lot earlier. You could have just followed your team. That would be an easier.
Yeah, it would be a lot better. Yep.
Yeah. Definitely would have preferred that, but I understand the thought process.
And I think we won.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward from here. So yeah, it's just those main things. So it's good as well because we only have a few main things to work on, and that is also something I want to make clear. When you get to these higher, you know, you're like a challenger level player, high grandmaster. When you're trying to improve, you just want to find 1 or 2 things at a time to work on, and then once you improve those, you find a new thing. And when it comes to looking for new things, oftentimes you can do that by watching another good ADC player and like comparing your gameplay to them and just be like, oh, they do this one thing I don't do, or watch back one of your own games. Or, you know, I make a lot of YouTube videos, you watch those videos or my other coachings of other players, like, and then you just like, there's that one.
I literally saw a stream with you in Pasadena when you played Pasadena. And like, I saw something you did with the wave management and I said, oh, that's interesting, I didn't do that.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's kind of like the thing where eventually the way that you get, if your goal is to get, you said your goal is to get, you know, better in legendary rank after getting challenger. And so usually that's how you kind of slowly get towards that goal is by finding these things. So yeah, the main things, and we can go to the next replay, but I'm pretty sure I've coached that at Mumu. Might be a different person. Like they could just have the same name. But...
Might be, because like there is Shinigami and there is Shinigami. I mean, there is L in the end and there is I in the end.
Yeah.
Shinigami with the I is better. I've been against him like 5 times. He's main jungle, I think, though.
Yeah. I don't remember. I remember I coached someone with that name, but it might be a different person. Also, you're not following. Wait, are you the Poppy or?
Oh.
I thought we were doing some Poppy coaching randomly now. Okay, so yeah, first thing here, exact same issue as before. You're not on the wave right away, and now why are you getting fucked early? Because they're pressuring you. So you shouldn't have even been in the bush. You should have been on the left side of the lane right away, and you should have been on the wave. But now, again, the poke comp gets control over the wave, and they're able to easily poke you out, right? So, and again, they're not even doing it properly. Say they did it really well, you'd be like a lot more screwed, right?
Yeah, I would be a lot worse.
But even with that, you're still getting screwed over because you're just letting yourself get poked. I mean, then you started walking up after the wave was cleared. You also need to understand, like, if you don't have a reason to do anything, you don't need to do anything, right? So there's no wave, so why would we walk up and get poked for no reason when they have the better range? Like, if they had the worst range, then it'd be different, but yeah, basically just that. And again, you're hitting the wave when you could just let it go under your tower. Like, this doesn't do anything. You're just taking damage from the wave and letting them trade with you.
On the wave.
And then you need to take 3rd skill level 2, not 2nd skill. The only time you take 2nd skill is when they have really scary engage and all in, and you're like worried about that.
Like Nautilus Vows.
Yeah, like Nautilus, Varus, Draven Thrash, whatever. But in a case like this, you have basically 0 threat if you take 2nd ability level 2. You only want to do that again when you're like scared and you don't think you could possibly trade. But say that you control the wave properly here, and the enemy started walking up, you have really, really good trading because not only do you win the all-in, but if they poke you to half health, you're not that scared because you have healing from Soraka, but they have no healing. So all of the damage you do is permanent, but the damage done to you is not permanent. So that's also something that's important to kind of understand. And then you spam your first ability a bit too much for wave clear, which makes your mana really fucking bad, right? So also keep that in mind. You're kind of running out of mana a bit too quick because you're spamming your first ability to clear waves that it's not needed for. The time when you're going to want to use your first ability to clear waves will be if you want to get really quick control over the wave. But usually what's going to happen is the enemy, as you go up for the wave right away, they'll walk up, you use your first ability on them to start poking them back, and then you use that to kind of get control over the wave. But again, the enemy instead are just getting permanent control over the wave, which puts us in a kind of bad spot, right? So, because even here, let's say that you'd poke them out properly and you traded harder, Amumu could have set up a possible dive if he's level 5, which he is. So then, like, you'd have a possible dive angle if, say, that you were fighting harder. Because that's another thing with your wave management, is if your jungle's pathing towards you, you're going to want to trade harder most of the time, right? So say that you'd had this wave control again properly, and then you started taking some certain all-in angles or that type of thing, you could have been in quite a good spot, right? So it's just that to keep in mind as well. And again, third ability usage for no reason. You're just using your abilities for fun. Like, that didn't help you wave clear anything.
Yeah, because of the... I think I got the mana immune, so I wanted to just stack it up fast.
But the thing is, you're going to run out of mana anyways, like, by the time you are going to recall. So you basically could have used this exact same amount of mana, but in a way that actually helped you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. In a smarter way, yeah.
Yeah.
I see.
Also, I don't recommend mana immune on Corki, by the way. I definitely would
Really?
say that the Essence Reaver and crit build right now is way better because of the fact that his auto attacks are so strong right now with the new true damage passive and everything. And his overall burst damage is just absolutely absurd. And then here again, instead of rotating, you should be pushing the wave first. Same thing, right?
It's like, I don't know, I saw a video of Royal Wild Rift.
Yeah.
He said that, like, build with mana immune and Corki is like pretty good thing. But he did like 2 builds, one with the mana immune and one with the crit Essence River that you said.
Yeah, no, both builds are good. So, like, don't get me wrong. I'm not telling you, like, this build is shit. You can't play it. If you really prefer this build, feels better to you, whatever, go for it. It's not a bad build at all. For me, the burst damage and overall just damage that you get from Essence Reaver, way higher. Way better carry potential on the full crit build. This build is more like consistent poke, which is useful, but, like, I don't really see a reason why I wouldn't play Varus or Ezreal or a different poke champion if I'm going to play, you know, the poke build, right? Yeah. So for me, it's not that useful, and it's worse early game. So that's also another thing, which I don't prefer. But yeah, definitely if this is the one you have success with, that's fine. And then again, same thing here. Instead of pushing out that wave, you recalled when the wave...
They pushing us.
Yeah, but you recalled when the wave was at their turret, but, like, frozen right in front of their turret, even though the enemy were low. So you could have just done that for free. So it's the same thing as before, where you recall on a big wave, and then you get fucked again, because now the enemy have control over the wave. You're pushing your turret, and this is a way bigger issue. Yeah, what's up?
I will say why I did it. Like, whenever I push the wave, and they manage to recall before that, I mean, if I push in the wave and they are already at base, when I came back to the turret, they're already at my turret.
Okay, so I want you to go back to the replay then, so I can tell you why that wouldn't have worked in this situation. Just go back to the point I was talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, this one's in game. I didn't even realize that. Instead of like the regular.
Is it here?
Yeah. It was around here. It was like, it will be in like 20 seconds, whatever. And I'll just tell you to pause at a certain point.
This one?
I think it's here. Wait, no, it might be a bit further. We can just go a little. So I think it was after the fight. Yeah, so it's basically like once we realized the fight. Maybe it was even. No, I think it was further back. It was definitely further back. It was further back. Like a minute or two. It was like before. Yeah. No, yeah, it's further. Like another minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even before this, before you recalled. Oh, it's before you recalled. Yeah. So like here, just recall or pause here. So you can see the situation you're in. It's not like they've just recalled right away. So that's the first thing. It's not like they've just recalled. So there's a wave to push. Secondly, if you do get this wave quickly, it literally will take you 3 or 4 seconds. That's not going to be the difference between your turret taking a bunch of damage and not taking a bunch of damage. The enemy get control over the wave either way, as we saw, because we end up wasting more time. And you could have pushed this wave 10 seconds earlier before rotating to Vladimir anyways, whereas you wasted even time like right before this, rotating and fighting this Vladimir, which is why you're so low health and low mana. Whereas you could have pushed the wave first, and then you would have had a lot more time, and the enemy haven't even recalled yet. So you could have even taken a recall before them if you really wanted. You could have pushed the wave and then recalled, and not even fought the Vlad because he was far away. So usually that's what's going to be happening. The times where they're going to push your wave immediately and then be on your turret after you recall by pushing the wave is only going to be when the wave is like the next wave, which you can see right now is at your tier 1 turret. When that wave is already like near your, not this wave, the wave, yeah, that wave. So if that wave was like way closer to your turret already, like say it was, you know, like at your tier 3 already almost, then you would need to stay and push that wave as well, because if they don't have that wave, they can't really kill, you know, anything, right?
Yeah, they can push the lane as well.
Yeah, but since it's so far back, you don't even need to worry about that. You just push this wave, you recall, you're fine, right? So does that all make sense?
Yeah, a lot more. A lot more.
Cool. And then we can go to like 530, I think it was. 530, 540. Yeah, I mean, we can talk about this fight again. I mean, when it comes to the fight, again, the way you play the fight's fine. Your target priority, everything you do is fine. The problem is we're in a fucking awful spot because we're half health or half mana because we didn't
Half mana, yeah,
recall
because
timer. We wasted a lot of our mana, and then we're also late to the fight because they had wave control. So then, like, you're basically a useless champion.
Yeah,
A lot of times, you're also wasting a lot of your mana for wave clear because you're getting pushed under your tower, and then you end up being no mana, like we can see here. And then yeah,
and I was greedy again for the kill.
Yeah, but again, I mean, positioning in the fight isn't too bad. Like everything you did in terms of fighting, you went a bit too far up again, right? In your fight, when you could have kind of stuck back with our team a bit. But that's not something I'm too concerned with, because I still think in terms of the decisions in the fights, it wasn't that bad. It's mostly the stuff leading up to the fight that makes it so much harder to play, because we have no mana and everything like that. Which is, again, a lot of times you're wasting your mana on wave clear where it's not necessary. Whereas like this Q was really good because you got, you know, basically the entire wave clear. Yeah, but like again, here you do first ability and third ability. That's too much. You could have just first ability, and then if you're stacking your...
I wanted to push to get some
yeah, but you push just as fast. Like third ability is like a second faster, maybe. It's like basically nothing. And then you need to be not standing still when you're autoing these minions, because it makes you easy to hit.
Yeah.
That's a small thing, but still something to keep in mind. And then when it comes to stacking Manamune, you're going to stack Manamune with your ult more than you're going to stack it with like your third ability, because your third ability costs so much more mana, for example. And then here again, random third ability, this does not clear anything faster. Maybe one auto attack faster. So you see what I mean? We're losing out on so much mana randomly when your ult is how you're going to stack a lot of Manamune. And then you're just losing this mana to the point where now, like, again, right now you're not in a bad spot, but a lot of times we are running out of this mana just too quickly, so it's just something to keep in mind.
And I wanted them to push now because yeah, Amumu can come, but like he recalls, so.
And then at this point we're kind of just stuck, you know, clearing under our turret, which is fine. Like
all because of the wave management that they only.
Yeah. But yeah, at this point there's not much you can do differently. Like at this point it is just kind of, we just have to deal with it. But I mean, your Amumu's coming, so then you have the chance. And I don't know if you were really that aware of him because you kind of weren't walking up right away, but...
Yeah, I wasn't aware.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it is going to be just these main mistakes, just not that many specific things. And then when it comes to a lot of these objectives as well, you're not really pushing your waves super well before the objectives are coming. So then we're not fighting in a good spot. We're kind of always putting ourselves in hard spots to fight, so it just makes all these fights a lot harder. So that's definitely the main thing. And yeah, ability usage, you're just spamming a little too much with too many abilities for wave clear, which then leads to you just running out of mana super quick for the fights that actually matter. And yeah, I mean that's mostly what's important to note so far. Yeah, the only thing with the Essence Reaver build is you have to be a bit smarter with your mana, because you do have a little less mana early game, but it's not like you have that much less mana early game, because the tier mana is pretty negligible in the first couple levels anyways. Yeah.
Well, by the way, I said that I practice Faust, but like I all the times do utility one. I mean the one with only AD. And I've been trying to mix it, like to do one time AP Faust with attack speed and one time hybrid. And I don't know, I just can't do it.
The Varus build you were building is just much better than the other ones. Like the AP Varus, the on-hit Varus, they're just not good builds.
Because like everyone that I'm soloing queue, whenever I solo queue, every time that I lose with this build, people saying shit build and stuff like that, so I don't know why.
Yeah, people are dumb, don't worry. And then same thing here, you see the wave that you didn't get before you rotated, that would have taken you 2
Yeah,
seconds.
yeah.
Same thing, it's just this fucking 200, 300 gold every time. But even, I want you to go back about 30 seconds as well. I just want you to go back 30 seconds before we start talk about this again.
Yep.
Yeah. Like, even go back like 15 more seconds. Like 9:15 or so.
950.
15. Something, or even go just the 9 like that. This is fine. So just pause here. Okay, so again we went too far, but it's fine. Basically, about 15 seconds ago, I already wanted you preparing to go onto the mid wave. Even now it's fine if you just recall right now. But when it comes to objective setups, especially around like a second dragon, that type of thing, you need to be setting up 15 to 30 seconds beforehand on the mid wave most of the time to have control over the wave and go with your team. Whereas when you end up being in a position like this, you recall pretty late, not so late, but pretty late. Then by the time you actually get to the lane, it's already basically, you know, the dragon's already basically spawned, and we're not taking control over the mid wave, so we don't get to rotate with our team. Instead, we get stuck going through the bottom lane by ourselves. Whereas say that you'd cleared this wave properly earlier in the bottom lane, you leave the current wave that's about to come. Just that wave doesn't matter that much because you don't have a turret, and like you're just perfectly fine, right, to just go mid. Like that's the one time where you can kind of ignore a side wave is when there's an objective or something to fight over. And so if you go mid with your team, so you can start the replay now, but that's the main thing I wanted to talk about is you need to be recalling, going towards mid with your team, grouping with them, getting control over the wave, and then using the control over the wave to push. But instead you get a pretty late recall. You're gonna only now, you know, 9 seconds, 8 seconds. By the time you even get mid, it's gonna spawn already. And you're going through this instead of going through mid. You should be walking straight through mid here with your team, because then you can enter with your team. But instead we end up going in a spot where now you're in a shitty choke point. Say that they did have a ward, which they actually do. They just fucking jump over the wall, you get screwed, right? And you're even not even with your team now. Like there's no, why aren't you with your team? Like your champion is, you literally haven't done anything yet.
Yeah, I'm the AD. I need to be with the team.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for Amumu to engage. We were like 5Q as well, so we spoke.
But there's no reason that you couldn't have just been walking to the left side with them, but
Yeah,
instead
yeah,
you
yeah.
tried to go for like a flank angle, which is where it's weird. It makes sense to be
Yeah, it
patient until
doesn't.
they engage to do anything crazy, but like you could have been at least poking. I mean, you're going a poke build, so like your champion
Yeah.
can get rockets off and get some damage up, whatever. But yeah, I think we kind of get the point. So
Yeah. It's like the 3 seconds that matters all.
yeah. And again, here you could have recalled and then gone through bot lane because it basically would be the same amount of time, but it doesn't really matter. Just go through bot lane, get the wave at least. But then here you should start spending time in mid lane again, right? So you should get the wave though, like 100%. Like this is again a stupid thing where the sequence of what you do. Whereas you see, because you do this, now that wave that you might kill in bot lane, well now you're not even killing it at all, but that won't die to the enemy turret. So here, this doesn't matter. Why does this fight not matter? Because there's no Baron up, there's no Dragon up, there's no objective, there's no nothing. So there's no reason you're not just bot lane right now, getting 300 guaranteed gold from those 2 waves, possibly even getting a turret, because we saw that the enemy weren't there, right? Like instead, and you weren't even with the fight either. So like you were both not fighting and not pushing a wave, you know? And so we can just see that, right? We just need to understand, right? It's the same thing over and over, which is good that the
It's
mistake
like
is
I need
common.
to put in my head that all the time scripts.
Yeah,
all
but
the
even
time.
here now, the pause again. Just pause again. The time, so what we need to understand is there's a shift that happens in the game at 12 minutes, and usually it should be more like 11:30, 11:45. Baron spawns, and we start wanting to control the mid wave. So I don't give a fuck about this current bot wave. Your Baron laner should eventually go towards bot side, right, to split push opposite side. This Baron matters, and so mid control matters so that you have control over the Baron. Because if you get control 20-30 seconds before Baron actually spawns, you get to ward their, you know, their river, you get to ward their camps, you get to ward everything around, you get complete control. Instead, you let the enemy Varus recall first, which means that now you're late on the wave, you show on the wave. Yeah, so he gets to go mid before you, and then say that your Soraka gets, you know, spotted on vision. Warwick ult Soraka, Soraka dies, you lose the game because you weren't there. Whereas if you're there, you know, Soraka's not going to die because you're going to be there to kill someone or whatever, have control over the wave, right? So does that all kind of make sense as well?
Of course.
And again, you're farming camps where it's like, I don't care about you farming these camps. The only way I would be okay with you farming these camps is if you were like really, really, really close to an item and you really needed it. But you can even see the fight happens that I told you that would happen. It's just that your team wins it. So shout out to our team, right? But that could have gone very bad. Like, we don't have any way of really knowing, right? So, especially in solo queue, you said you're 5Q, more likely that your teammates aren't going to suck, but especially in solo queue. And then we don't want to flip this. We should definitely be looking to go over the wall because they have a Varus. Oh, W Poppy, actually. Let's go.
Poppy won the game.
Yeah, that's good. You just click your champion on the left side, your icon on the left. Yeah, there you go. And yeah, we should also go bot right now. Like, we should recall go bot. You should recall because you don't have mana, and then just go bot to play the, you know, instead you just go straight away. The reason you had time to recall is because we're not really going to be doing anything crazy for a little bit. So, like, why is it? I'm pretty sure it's glitched. It says there's a gold bounty on that turret, but I'm pretty sure there's not because you guys are up 2k gold. But I think that's just a glitch. But yeah, you can see how now you're stuck here, low mana. Now you're going to have to recall. Whereas, say that you recalled right away and then you came here, you would get a lot more value out of your Baron. Yeah?
Wait, I wanted to explain.
Yeah.
This one. I wanted to clear the wave fast. I know that I noticed that I have low mana, but like this is wave a Baron wave. So if I manage to recall and go to the side of the map, like I mean go to this point, this wave already be gone. I mean,
Okay,
I
so
think.
then let me ask you a
So
question.
this. Okay.
What is the purpose of Baron? Why do you have Baron? Why do we want Baron?
Baron lane?
Why do we want Baron? The Baron itself.
Oh, the Baron. All right. Yes, to push lanes, to manage to have the stats that Baron gave you.
So the same the same reason that I told you that you need to shift your mindset from getting the maximum possible amount of gold to now being aware of the Baron is the same reason that when you have the Baron, your goal is not maximum amount of gold from every individual minion. Your goal is to get a fuck ton of turrets, which is going to give you way more gold.
Yeah.
And so what you end up doing now is, sure, you get this 200 gold that you got, but now you recall. So now you're not able to immediately get this turret because the enemy can defend it. You have to go back to get this turret now. Your waves are not going to be synced because this wave's going to get stuck on a turret for too long. Your waves, you're not going to be able to get as much value. You're not going to push, you know, another bottom lane turret. You're not going to potentially pressure an inhib. You're not going to do any of that because you're just wasting basically 20 seconds of your time being here and then recalling. Whereas if you'd recalled and then immediately walked here, you don't waste that additional 20 seconds clearing this wave and then walking all the way here. Because even when you were in mid lane, if you recalled right away, you wouldn't have been that different of a time like to get bot lane, right? So yes, you're going to get this wave, but then you're going to lose out on potentially a different wave or getting another turret, which is just more valuable because we're going to be basically wasting a lot of time with our Baron. So when we have the Baron, we don't care as much about squeezing gold from 1 or 2, 3 minions. We care about getting the waves pushing so we can pressure the turret.
Yeah. I see.
And then, yeah. So now you either have to recall or you have to stay for a wave where, again, we're basically doing nothing with our Baron. So it's like, nice, we got some turrets, right? Or some gold, rather. But we're really doing very little with this. And now, this is what I mean by the waves being synced. You see how your mid wave is super far up and your bot wave is stuck at their tier 3 turret that you haven't even killed yet? So this is really the issue. We need our Baron lane waves to be synced. Do you know what I mean by that? Like, as in they're all hitting the same point at the same time. And so, again, still haven't even gotten that bot lane turret. I don't think we've even gotten one turret out of this Baron yet. Why would we not run bot right now? Our goal is to get turrets. What the fuck are we doing? You know, we're going for a random fight that we don't care about. And this control over the mid wave doesn't matter for dragon because each team has a dragon, so we don't even care about the dragon. And then, yeah, we're just completely screwing ourselves over. And this Baron is getting, like, just one of the worst Barons ever. And we're in a 5Q too, so we have no excuse for why we're using Baron poorly. It's not the same as solo queue. So it's just fucking waves, though. With literally every mistake, it revolves around the waves. It's just in different waves, which is good. That is a good thing because it's an easy one thing to focus on and fix rather than having a million problems, right? So,
yeah.
Dude, that bot lane turret not dying is criminal, by the way. I don't even think it's going to die for your entire Baron, which is insane.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't know either.
I might end up dying because it is pretty low. So maybe the Baron lane build anyway. Yeah, it does die. So. But yeah, again, like we could have had that pushing way earlier, and then imagine we're pressuring like the bottom lane turret right now as the enemy are trying to fight us. Then they're gonna show coming to us. Instead, it's just an even fight where we don't get like additional vision or control over anything, and we also don't further our lead much. Like that Baron, you guys were ahead 2k gold when you got the Baron. You're ahead 2k gold now. Like we got no lead from that, and it's a really close fight as well because we're not like in a great spot set up. So, I mean, we kind of get the point here, but. And then we also don't really care about fighting this that much because each team has a dragon, but if we think we can win, we can fight it.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Momo wanted to just go.
Yeah.
So I rolled with him.
Fair enough. Vladimir forgot to click his buttons, so shout out to him.
Good. Oh, by the way, I thought that this match, I thought that Varus was using map hacks, but like it was just a theory.
I don't think he looks like he's map hacking, right? I mean, from
Yeah,
what
yeah,
I've seen.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you never know.
I didn't notice the wards that they had.
I'm not gonna
this
lie to
is
you
why.
though. Like, there's definitely been at least 50 games that I've played Varus where 100% my opponents would think I'm map hacking based on what I do. Because like,
Really?
because when I'm playing Varus, I'll use intuition to like predict where people are. I'll also go mid wave again. You can see the same mistake we make over and over and over again.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, same mistake.
But yeah, no, like I'll snipe people out of vision because I see them walk and I'm like, they might be in that bush. I'm gonna try it. And then I kill them, and it's like, yeah, they definitely think I'm cheating or something. So it's definitely a champion where I can see why people think this. Also, why the fuck would we ever flip this? Choice is so stupid. Like, you should have been pinging retreat 48 times. You're winning the game. The enemy have Varus, literally best champion in the game for stealing over walls. Maybe Orion is better.
Yeah, I
like,
know.
basic, right?
I told the Lulu that they have Varus and we need to go back, but like he said I can do it, so I don't have.
You should have just
I
been.
can't force him.
Yeah, you can't force him, but you should have been warding over the wall and trying to look for people over the wall and like looking for poke on them rather than just autoing it really quick with your teammate. But I mean, yeah, it is hard if your teammate's doing that to fully force them off, but and yeah, you can basically see how bottom lane, even at the end of the game when we've gotten a second Baron, is basically like not pushing. And that's just because of all these mistakes we made leading up to it where it doesn't get pushed over and over. And it doesn't matter, right, in this game, but a lot of games it will matter. So. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen and write out notes for you, and then just let me know when you see my screen.
Right.
But as I'm writing the notes, if anything I say doesn't make sense, or you want me to clarify, or you want me to write something different, whatever, just let me know. But yeah, just tell me when you see my screen.
All right, I'm in.
You see it? Okay.
Yep.
So, early game, need to be on the wave as it spawns. Ward after crashing a wave. Not before. Push a wave or rotating, and we can say pretty much wave is typed in every sentence because it's pretty much everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, push a wave before rotating, shuttle, or objectives. In terms of early game, I think those are the main things. I would say usually third ability, level 2 on Quirky, most games. I can't type, but you know what I mean. Quirky. Then, so main time we can freeze is if we see an angle to all in, or if we want to build up a slow push. Do you know what a slow push is?
Nope.
Okay. What's the easiest way I can explain? I think I can probably explain with an example quickly. Just gonna pull up so you can also just watch this video later, but Like it's just about wave management as a whole. League of Legends ad. That's nice. But yeah, I don't remember the exact time where I speak about it, so I'm just gonna quickly look through this video and then I'll explain basically what I mean. Yeah, so it's basically gonna be this. Obviously it's top lane, but it's the same thing. Wait, I think it's so basically what a slow push is you only basically auto the wave as it like as it's last hittable, right? Like as I did this here. And then what this eventually leads to, and again, maybe this is the wrong example because I don't actually remember this video because it was a while ago. But what this eventually leads to is you having a really big wave like this, like a 6 minion wave to their like 5. And so you're slowly building up a bigger and bigger wave. And then what you eventually do with this wave is you're going to crash it to do something. So in this case, I believe I crash it to recall. Like once I decide to fast push it is once I realize I want to set up a recall for myself. And so then I start pushing it fast so that I can recall for my boots. So you see how I'm trying to hit a power spike? So you could either do it to hit a power spike to recall, because now he's stuck here, I get in lane. I believe I get in lane before he even is able to recall. So then he gets kind of screwed over. I guess I go into the next example, but you get the point, right? Where I'm able to do that. And the other thing you can do with a slow push is build up to dive someone. So like I could do the exact same thing I did there, but then instead of recalling on this wave, let's say that I was stronger, he was lower health, and my jungle was coming. I would dive here, you know what I mean? Because he's going to be lower level than me. Because he's currently level 2, and again, this works the same way in bot lane. But I'm level 4, he's level 2. Like you can see, because all of these minions haven't been killed by him, you're so much stronger. And again, same thing will happen in bot lane. Usually you'd be level 3, not 4, because, you guys are sharing XP. But same concept. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but like if I'm slow pushing and they like push the wave hard, so is it still going to be worth to slow push?
No, so what's going to happen if you're slow pushing and then, so the time that you're going to use a slow push is when you have some type of advantage and you want to set up, to dive or to take advantage of that, which is going to mean you have the winning matchup. So if you have the winning matchup and they walk up on you, then you start trading with them, right? So they can't really walk up. Like that's why I'm doing it as Jason and Maokai, right? So it's going to be the same thing in bot lane. So yeah, you said you play a lot of Draven Lucian. Those champions almost always win lane, So this is the type of champion.
Yeah, but like this patch I quit Draven.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. But either way, even Varus is pretty good at that once you hit level 2 or higher. Corki honestly has pretty good all-in too. So like all these champions a lot of times can find that, and it depends on your support. But a lot of times you can do that if the enemy respond. And then again, say that they also do respond, then that just means that you're still going to have wave control, but you're not going to have, I have 6 minions, right? Maybe you only have 1 or 2 minions, but you still have control over the wave either way. So it's still beneficial, even if it's not, you diving them at the end. It's still nice, right?
Yep.
That all makes sense? Any questions though?
No, it all makes sense.
Okay, cool. And yeah, a lot of times also with the freeze, you freeze for a wave and then you start building up a slow push. So that's kind of like how it evolves, and then eventually turns into you crashing the wave under the turret. So the common pattern is freeze, slow push, crash the wave. But most of the times in bot lane, you don't freeze very often. So I'm also just going to write that in bot lane, most of the time, we want the wave pushing. Because it is harder to freeze in bot lane than other lanes. Do you know why it's harder to freeze in bot lane than other lanes?
What was the question?
Do you know why it's harder to freeze in bot lane than in other lanes?
To freeze, yeah, because you're against 2 champs and they probably going to eat. They wanted to eat the control lane.
Yeah, that and there's range, right? Like a lot of other lanes, they're not always ranged, but they're always ranged here. So that also,
Most
you're
of the
100%.
time, I mean, Baron lane is melee.
Yeah, which is why having control over the waves matters a lot more. And then also understanding key level up timers on waves. So do you know what minion will give you level 2?
The melee one?
No.
What do you mean by
do you know how many minions do you need to kill to get level 2?
I don't know.
Okay.
I can guess like 8 or like 9.
You're very fucking
or
wrong.
7.
So first minion of the second minion wave gives level 2.
Oh, it's level 2.
Which means this is the 5th minion that you'll kill. But the first minion of the second minion wave.
Even if you in do. Oh yeah. Because in Baron lane you hit level 2 in the first wave, is it?
So this first minion of the second wave gives level 2 in duo lane. And then I'll just write this. You do play other roles sometimes. So in a solo lane, the third minion of the first wave, we'll give level 2 if the lane has stalled out. And the fourth minion will give level 2 if you push quickly. Does this make sense when I say stalled out or no?
Yeah.
Did you say no? Sorry, I didn't hear that.
No, I said yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, like if you wait a lot longer, because the XP builds up over time. Yeah. Okay, so those are a lot of the early game things. Are there any more questions about early game or anything like that?
Nope.
Okay. So yeah, those are the main things when it comes to then mid game. So the first thing is going to be like the objective timer, where you need to push a wave about 30 seconds before objective, so we can rotate. What's up? Sorry.
No, I'm disagreeing with you.
Okay. Better ability usage with Quirky, so we don't run out of mana. Quirky, so we don't run out of mana. Some small but important to keep in mind still. Let our tanks lead more often rather than being impatient. Shift our mindset from getting as much gold as possible. As much gold as, bro, I can't type, oh my god. Gold as possible to rolling mid waves once Baron is spawning, which is at 12 minutes. Does this make sense how we were talking about like once the Baron is spawning? Yeah. So there's that. Yeah, all of the wave stuff, control minions, or control
in
mid
which
wave.
time of the game in which time of the game you think it's a good decision to swap to mid lane as an
So
AD
typically,
player?
typically the time that I want to swap to mid lane is Baron is the time where like once Baron's spawning, I definitely want to be in mid lane 95% of games. Before that, it's situational, and usually what I want, so basically before going to mid, pre 12 minutes, I want to make sure my wave is pushing. So basically, if I already pushed my wave, like let's say I came out of base, I went to my lane right away, I pushed that wave, and then I pushed the next wave that came. You know, as soon as it came, I pushed it immediately. Now I'll go mid because I've got like 20, 30 seconds before the next wave comes. But say that I went to my lane, I clear one wave, and then there's still another wave there. I'm going to still wait for that wave because it's right there. Does that kind of make sense?
Yep.
And so it's not like you're just, because that's the other thing. I think you're kind of thinking, once I'm mid, I'm mid. It's not that once you're mid, you're mid. You push a wave, then you go mid, you push that mid wave, and now you look for the next wave. Maybe the next wave is bot lane, maybe it's top lane, but it's not you just stagnating in mid lane the entire game. Whereas once the Baron spawns, it is a lot more stagnation being in mid lane. Now you can still rotate sometimes towards other parts of the map. It's not like you're just sitting in mid the entire time, but once Baron spawns, it is a lot more about that mid control compared to before, where the mid control is just a means to get gold pre 12 minutes, basically.
I see.
Okay. So, in mid game, push out the wave as we get there, and the following wave that is about to come, then rotate, rather than leaving, a wave early. Does that make sense when I say it like that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so the mistakes are mostly around, I would just say then spell tracking. I'm just going to write this as kind of a loose thing because it's not something big. So basically, the thing is right now, all of the things that I just mentioned to you, pretty much everything from 1 through 14 is all going to put you in a better position when it comes to fighting, controlling the wave, putting yourself in an easier position, playing around your level 2 advantages, pushing the wave out before rotating so you have control. Like, all these things are pretty much just putting myself in a better position. But when it comes to the actual fights, I can see that. Yeah, but when it comes to the actual fights, you're not doing a great job of keeping track of what spells are dangerous to you, and you're not doing a great job of actually positioning with your team properly. You're kind of being a bit too aggressive. And so for now, I don't give a fuck. I don't want you to worry about that. New season's coming. It's not like you're going to hit, Sovereign in like 5 days. So we don't
Yeah,
have a
yeah.
specific goal right now anyway. So what I want you doing for like the first 2 weeks of next season is just these 14 things pretty much, you know, focus on that. I'd only focus on putting yourself in a good position. And then I find it very likely that once you're in that spot, you're going to start realizing that you can work a lot on your fighting. And so then what I'm going to want you to work on after that is like spell tracking, you know, keeping track of spells and fights, probably just playing these fights better, where you're positioning in the fights. And so that's something where a really easy way to work on that is to go watch videos, like even watch, do you know Jackie? Do you know who that is?
Who?
Do you know who Jackie is?
No, I know only you and
Okay.
Royal.
Watch
These two.
Jackie's stream. I don't know how to spell it for sure. Stream to on Twitch to understand mechanics and positioning of ADC better. You can just quickly go find it, so you know what I'm talking about. But so basically, this is
The
going to be
thing
again.
is,
This is not what I really want you improving on right now. This is what I want you working on later. I don't know what it is. A stream. Definitely, maybe it's this. Yeah, it's this. Day 3 CKI. And so this person is the best ADC in NA. He's very, very good.
really?
Yeah. And so watching him will be very valuable once you've worked on these other things, because you can pay attention to how he plays fights, how he positions. Even you can look at him and see what he's doing in terms of the other things I spoke about. But it's going to be a good person to learn from when it comes to that. So yeah, what's up?
Another thing that I wanted to talk about, like, you mentioned next season. This season, I said I focused only on my mains, which is Lucian. Draven, I quit him because this season it's pretty bad for me to play him.
Yeah.
But like, I trying to Lucian. I'm the best with Lucian, and I'm trying to be Corki, Varus, and all that. But like, the thing that I'm trying to be more focused is like to pick an attack speed AD carry, like Vayne, like Saya. Kaisa, sort of like them. Because like most of the time I'm picking pokes AD carry. If
Yeah.
you get what I said.
Yeah. So are you asking if you should be focusing on more
Yeah.
champions
And more
or?
like yeah. Should I just like keep these three mains or like should I jump over and practice more AD carries gems?
So when it comes to champion pool, having a champion pool of 3 champions is fine. The first time that I ever reached Challenger, my champion pool was Varus and Corki. So like I didn't really have this thing you're talking about with like a hyper carry. And I've always been worse at the hyper carries. Isa, Zaya, these types of champs just I'm not that good at. I can win on them, but I don't win nearly as much as if I'm playing Varus or Corki or whatever. Like I understand sometimes you just feel better on certain things. It's just what you like. Sounds to me like you really like these early game champions who have really high burst damage and are pretty good poke, whatever. You're
Yeah.
not really good with the hyper carries. And so there's 2 ways you can approach this, and neither way is wrong. You could genuinely do either, and it's fine. Either you just only focus on what you're good at, keep playing those, keep spamming those, and you're going to be able to get a high rank if you are good at them. Or you spend the first month of the season focused on the champions you're not good at, because over time you're going to, you know, figure out a lot more about those champions, but you have to accept that you're going to lose a lot more initially because those champions just don't click with you
Yeah.
as well. And so I would say it depends on what you enjoy more, because you can genuinely do either. So if you enjoy the champions you're currently playing, then keep playing them, and you can climb 100%. But if you're kind of getting bored, then, you know, it might be a good idea to find like Kaisa or Zaya or whatever.
I see.
Anything else?
Because like
Yeah, go ahead.
whenever they pick, I mean, there is a certain things that like the enemy pick in Milo Caitlyn, for
Yeah.
example. So most of the time when they pick in Milo Caitlyn, I can't go Lucian because like Lucian have
Yeah, it'll counter you.
short range and like they will fucking poke me to death. Um, so I need to grab another ADC champ so I can handle these two.
I
If
mean,
you
Varus
know
is
what I'm
amazing in the
saying.
Caitlyn, so
Even with Milo, Caitlyn Milo,
Varus is the best champion, the best ADC in the game at countering high range champions. Because Varus,
because
so
of the
typically high range champions, their strength is their poke and their weakness is their all in, right?
yeah
So what is Varus really good at? He has high range and he has really good all in because of his passive with W.
yeah
So you literally you have the strength that they don't have, and you have the same strength that they do have in
I see.
range. So you're just really good into them. Now, you need to understand the wave control stuff we spoke about, or else you're going to get fucked. Because if you let a Caitlyn Melio control the wave properly and they actually play it well, unlike the Caitlyn Melio you played against, like say it was Jackie on it, then they're going to start poking your turret and you're going to lose from that. But if you're controlling the wave properly and you use your range properly, and you pressure the all-ins, then you should be fine with the Varus.
Yeah, I see what you said.
Yeah.
Any
other
so,
questions? Yeah.
No, can you just copy all the
Yeah,
notes that you did and paste it?
Yeah. All right.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, of
I
course.
think it's helped me a lot.
That's awesome. Well, then good luck. I'll see you later.